When the biscuits turned into fingers, the truth about Uncle Fola's visit finally came out.
Hello friends, welcome to Story Hut, where timeless African tales come alive. Step inside and let the magic of storytelling whisk you away. Don't forget to subscribe and join the journey.
It was a regular Thursday at Unity Primary School, a lively school in a small village of Ikonde. The students were busy with their lessons when a man appeared at the school gate. He introduced himself as Uncle Fola, a traveling merchant selling snacks. His sack was filled with golden crispy biscuits, which he said were handmade and delicious. The children were excited. Uncle Fola's warm smile and kind voice made him seem trustworthy. During the break time, he handed out free samples to the students, especially those who didn't have money. Teachers assumed he was just a generous visitor and allowed him to sell his biscuits freely. "Enjoy, children," Uncle Fola said as he handed out the treats. "This will make you strong and happy." But the happiness didn't last. By the next morning, strange things started happening. The first to notice something was Amina, a girl in class 4. During math class, she suddenly screamed and dropped her pencil. Her fingers had gone numb. She tried to wiggle it, but they didn't respond. "Teacher, my hands feel weird," she said, holding them up. Her fingertips looked pale, almost like they'd been drained of blood. Later that day, Tunde, a boy in class 5, couldn't hold his notebook. His hands were trembling uncontrollably. He started crying, saying, "It feels like my fingers don't belong to me anymore." More and more children began reporting similar symptoms. By the end of the school day, nearly half the students who had eaten Uncle Fola's biscuits were either feeling sick or noticing strange changes in their hands. The following day, while cleaning the school compound, Mr. Ade, the school janitor, found a cloth bag hiding behind the school's kitchen. Thinking it was trash, he opened it. Inside, he saw something that made his heart race. The bag was filled with biscuits, just like the ones Uncle Fola had been selling. But these biscuits weren't ordinary. On closer inspection, Mr. Ade realized they weren't biscuits at all. They were human fingers. Each biscuit was shaped exactly like a finger, complete with nails and creases. Some even had faint, dry skin patterns. Terrified, Mr. Ade ran straight to the head teacher, Mrs. Olayemi, and showed her the bag. "What is this?" she whispered, her voice shaking. She immediately called an emergency staff meeting. During the meeting, the teachers pieced together what had happened. Every child who had eaten Uncle Fola's biscuits was now showing symptoms: numb fingers, weak hands, or strange dreams where they couldn't move their limbs. "Where is this Uncle Fola now?" one teacher asked. But nobody had seen him since Thursday. He had disappeared as quickly as he had come. The school decided to call the village elder, Baba Labi, to inspect the strange biscuits. When Baba Labi arrived, he took one look at the bag and shook his head. "This is not natural," he said. These biscuits are cursed. Whoever made them is using the children's energy, maybe even their souls, for something dark. By now, the children were getting worse. Amina's hands had completely turned stiff and she could barely move them. Tunde couldn't lift his arms at all. Others complained of terrible nightmares where shadowy hands reached out to grab them. Their parents were frantic and extremely frightened too. But no doctor in the nearby town could explain what was happening. Some villagers started whispering that Uncle Fola wasn't a man at all, but a spirit in disguise. Determined to save the children, Baba Labi suggested searching for clues about Uncle Fola. The villagers split into groups and spread out to nearby markets and towns, asking if anyone had seen the man. One group finally found the lead. In a neighboring village, a trader recalled seeing a man matching Uncle Fola's description. He had been selling snacks there just days before arriving at Unity Primary School. The trader also mentioned something chilling. After he left, some people in our village fell sick too. Yes, their fingers, they looked like they were dying. The villagers realized Uncle Fola had been targeting schools, leaving a trail of sick children wherever he went. But who was he, and why was he doing this? Back in Ikonde, Baba Labi prepared a cleansing ritual. He believed the biscuits contained a spiritual link to Uncle Fola, and destroying them might break the curse. That evening, the villagers gathered at the school. Baba Labi lit a fire and threw the bag of biscuits into the flames. As the biscuits burned, a foul smell filled the air. Some villagers say they heard faint cries coming from the fire, but no one dared to look. As the last biscuit turned to ash, a strong wind blew through the schoolyard and the air felt lighter. The next morning, the children began to recover. Slowly, their strength returned and their fingers looked normal again. Despite their efforts, Uncle Fola was never found. Some believed he was a man practicing dark magic, while others thought he was a spirit sent to test the village. To this day, no one knows the truth about him, but the story of the cursed biscuits became a legend in Ikonde, passed down to one future generations. The tale of Uncle Fola and the cursed biscuits teaches an important lesson. Not everything that looks good is good for you. Be cautious of accepting things from strangers, especially when they seem too generous. Sometimes the things that bring the most harm come disguised as kindness. This story reminds us to stay vigilant and to always question the intentions of those who come bearing gifts. After all, it's better to be safe than to regret later. And to our loving parents, do well and don't forget to teach your children not to accept gifts or any appeasing items from strangers, because they don't know them and no one can tell whatever that can happen to them. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you in our next video, and please don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe. Bye.